many have come to me, seeking tutelage in dark sorcery. Sit through this lesson, and you will see.
So, a lot of you have been going, "Hey Foxy, can you make me a Shang Tsung guide? I don't know what I'm doing." Well, I don't know what I'm doing as well. I just know a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll share with you the little bit I do know. So, let's have a look-see. So what is Shang Tsung about? Shang Tsung is about keeping your opponent at bay, just throwing things their way, being annoying. He's a zoner in a game where there aren't any real zoners. So you're going to have to be throwing out a lot of fireballs, yeah. So to start off with, he's got straight fireball, the single one, double fireball, the double one, believe it or not, and the triple fireball. That's 3. See, we can count here. 1, 2, 3. Right, so 1, the benefit of this, if you look at the bottom left, it says block advantage 2. That's from this distance, right? So the further you are away, the more it'll be. So this is good if you want to move before your opponent if they block it. So you get to throw the fireball, maybe throw something else behind it, maybe like a fireball and even do another set of 3 or whatever. This one is good because it's more chip, it's harder for them to jump, and if you catch somebody jumping, hold on, if you catch somebody jumping and you got some sick style with it, you can catch some conversions and whatnot. And the third one, this one pushes them back the most and also does the most chip. So what you want to do is you want to use this when you know that you got them in a blocking situation, because if you see this does near about 5% chip. So if you can get people to block this on the regular, you're going to be chipping them out pretty quick. This is in his young form. These are the projectiles in his young form. Oh, he's also got air skull. I haven't really found much use for this when I've just been doing this, but it exists. You can probably use this against like Natara or something like that. Anyone that wants to be in the air too much. But for the most part, this will stop people in the air. His other fireballs come from his other stance. Shang's a stance switch character, which is down and stance switch. He changes age, right? So he goes old. When you're old, your fireballs change. So instead of double fireball, you've got close ground skull. Instead of the single fireball, you've got medium. And then you've got, instead of the triple fireball, far ground skull. These are all way more disadvantaged on block. So you don't really want to be throwing them out without having a reason to do it, or without being sure that it's going to be blocked as well, because they recover pretty slowly and you might just get cooked. So be careful throwing them out. But the strength of them is that they're launchers. So when he's old and about this distance, somebody whiffs something in front of you and catch them in the skull, you can get a conversion. If you can do a combo, which I can't. Yeah, that you can do that, alright? So the ground skulls are good if you can force somebody to block it, and if they disrespect the fact that they have to block it, you can just launch them. So that you gotta be careful with that, but it's good. And he's also got air skull. This is good for jumping over, like say a Sindel low projectile, you can just jump up, do that, win the chip war against her. Or a Lu low fireball, something like that, you can get over them and throw something back at them. This is what makes Shang a good zoner, because not only can he make you hold things, he can also counter your zoning with his own, if you play it right. The EX versions of all these moves, basically the young one you get a mid starting fireball, so they'll have to block the rest of them. And as the old one, if you do the far version, you get a launch from full screen. If you do the close version, you get a launch that sends them full screen from close. So these are good punishers, especially this, the far one. There'll be some moves that you can up block, so like Kenshi's slash, you can up block it. If you're in old, you up block it, and then reversal will give you that. That's a nice punish. Or just maybe duck someone's projectile and do that to them. You'd have to go into practice and learn these things for yourself, find the situations it's applicable. So another thing I keep getting asked is, "Hey Foxy, why are you going young and old? Is that just for aesthetics? Are you just doing it to look cool?" No, I'm not just doing it to look cool, right? So when you're young, you get more ways to hit people, but you're going to get less damage. So he has this overhead, boom, you can can do this. You can run this against people. People will just eat this for days because Mortal Kombat players love eating overheads. It's just like, it's part of the lore. Just eat overheads for days. And then this will eventually make people stand up, in which case you can throw them, which is pretty nice. And when you're old, you get the longer version of his mid-string. So his mid-string, when he's young, is forward 4-3-4. You don't actually get anything off of that without an assist. But when you're old, you get this, which you can actually morph back to young. But most of the time, when you start this string, you want it to be in old form. So like if you're young, you'll do forward 4 morph 1, alright, and then you can dial in the rest of the string. So 1, 2, 1 on hit, and then you go into that combo. Something like that. So yeah, young, you change stance on, you do forward 4 morph, and then press the button, yeah? And it will come out like that. The first 3 hits are all safe, so you can confirm off them. Or you could do like an assist at the end of them, stuff like that. And the string actually ends on a 4 as well, so you can do the whole thing and morph young again. Boom, like that. If you want. But most of the time you probably end up doing an assist after it or something along those lines. There'll be situations where it's worth just always morphing. Like if you see anti-air, double fireball, always morph to old. You get your conversion like I showed you earlier. Most of the time when I hit the old injection, which is down back 3, I'll morph back to young because you're going to be in a space where young is stronger. If you hit like an anti-air standing 4, I'm pretty much always trying to morph off that as well. So you can get a conversion here. Just something like that. So yeah, your anti-airs you want to morph on both the fireball and the normal. Even the spike actually, if you can hit the spike. That's cool, I need to start doing that. Oh, it's Punisher as well. His Punisher is stand 2-4, right? So you always want to end up in old when you're hitting people. Basically, you always want to end up in old when you're hitting people with things, unless it's this, alright? So you want to do forward 2, or not forward 2, 2-4 morph into old, blah blah blah, do the same combo. And then just morph back to young because you're in a range where young is stronger. Same with forward 4, you morph. What's it? 1, 2. You morph. This one's harder to do. That is 1, 2, close skull, fast skull, dash up, forward 4, mid skull, forward 4 into the injection. Alright. The injection is your easiest combo ender, so I'd just say do that, and it's pretty much your highest damage in one as well. And it'll put you in a range where you're most likely going to be in more control than the opponent. So just try and play that the most basic way while you're learning them. You'll eventually learn ways to get people to block things like this once you've got them in this kind of range, which will be even better because, like I've shown you earlier, it does 5% on block. And if it's doing 5% on block, you're basically adding 5% to whatever damage you just did to them. And it can also lead into more if you play straight skull around it as well, because you can move first. See what I'm saying? This character's pretty big brain. You're gonna have to get them neurons firing. You can't be sloth. You can't be like a Baraka player playing this character. You've got to think about what you're doing. Other things you might want to use, well, definitely you want to use down 4. This button's ignorant. Let's have a look. Down 4, right? It's -6. It's got pushback. Doesn't matter if they flawless block it, whatever. It's got pushback on hit. On hit it's +15, so you can dash up and get the knee like I was showing you earlier. So you can do like dash up, block to old, blah blah blah. Or you could do dash up grab, or if you're still young and they're respecting you, you could do dash up into overhead. You've got options here. If the grab hits, you get down 3 as a meaty, so they can't avoid this down 3. So what this means is you get the ignorant loop of throw, down 3, or throw, they try and block it down 3, throw, you see what I mean? Or they can start delaying wake up or whatever. He's got a couple of things to beat throw techs as well. I'm pretty sure his 1-2 is an auto shimmy, which basically means if they're trying to take the throw, they're going to get hit. So you do that at the same time and you do a throw, they'll get hit. And then obviously if they're trying to duck the throw, the overhead is there, and that just loop. It's got a lot of little low damage, low risk looping offense. And then the big chunks come when he actually hits you. Defensively, he's got the same things in both stances, so you don't really need to think too hard about it. He's got armored down forward too, right? So if you spend the bar on it, he'll do this when he's young, which will knock him full screen, and this when he's old, basically the same damage. Send him the same situation. You can morph in it as well. If you're old or young, whatever, it don't matter, you can change. So yeah, that's your armored reversal. And then other than that, you've got your down one, it's plus 12 on hit. It's not the longest reaching down one, but I think that's kind of made up for by the fact that his down 4 is so good. So yeah, defensively, you've got your armor and probably your down 4. They'll be your best friends. Down 4, I think that's the way to go for the most part. Just find a spot where you can get that move out. Now, the coolest thing about Shang Tsung always has been the fact that you can steal souls, right? But in this game, you can just be them, right? So that was EX Soul Steal. It turned me into the other Shang Tsung, right? So I'll prove it, right? It gives you a damage buff. So currently I'm doing 6%. But you see I spend the bar here, and I'm doing 7%. So what you want to do is learn what matches is worth stealing the opponent. So if you can play against a Kenshi and you have a freezing assist, you might as well just turn into Kenshi and then use Sento stance on him with none of the repercussions of having to get out of the stance. Or if you're playing against Liu Kang with a Kung Lao assist like I do, you now get Liu Kang's throw loop. You get Liu Kang's throw loop like that is also a launcher, which is good. Or if you're against a Melina, you could start throwing in some ugly mix-ups in there as well. It basically becomes 1 hit, 2 hit, dead. That's pretty sweet. There's plenty of characters depending on what cameo you play. Maybe you play a Darius with Shang Tsung and you soul steal Reiko. Now you've got that mad command grab damage that he's doing, but damage buffed as well. So you can get creative with it. Depends on what assist you use. I'm not going to go over the assists because I don't know all of the assists with this character. I just know what I'm using at the minute. But yeah, with the soul steal, try and find some cheapness. Send me what cheapness you know because I'm always interested in seeing what's going on with that. Yeah, damage buff lasts forever, change back as well, so it's pretty sweet. Other than that, the most important thing about playing Shang Tsung is just making sure you play in such a manner that you traumatize your opponent. So yeah, to get out there and be an absolute demon, and all is well. Do something like that, innit? Yeah, just do something like that. Really put it on them. And then what you do is you turn into them and then you fatality them with their own character. You can steal all of that stuff as well. So that's how you play Shang Tsung for real. You turn into them and you fatality them with their own character. But yeah, cheers for watching. Pretty much all I've got that could be of any use at the minute. Like obviously I'm still learning the character as well. He's definitely sick. Definitely takes a bit of brain to use, but it's also definitely worth it. So yeah. If you find anything cheap, tag me on Twitter or just come into my Twitch chat and show me about it. I'll have a look at it live on stream. Alright, see you in a bit.